So we can talk more about being a citizen scientist later if you want, because I have some ways that make it easy for students to keep track of the information that they're collecting when they're out picking up garbage or they're out counting crabs. Have you done a green crab survey before?
No.
What made you think about green crabs?
I've watched videos about the green crab population.
And what about the population?
That they're really, the population is really, really big right now. And that can
Is
be
that a problem?
Yes.
Why is it a problem? Do you know? Or anything bad they could do? Do you know where those green crabs came from?
Europe.
Right. So do they belong here?
No.
No, they belong in Europe, but they've been here for 100 years. And we consider them an invasive species. Have you heard that term before, invasive species?
Yeah.
Well, the reason we consider them an invasive species is because they have been getting in the way of our native crabs, like the Jonah crab and the rock crab. These are crabs that we like to eat. These are crabs that our local fishermen make money harvesting and selling. But there's not as many of those crabs because the green crabs kind of push them out of the way.
And that could become a problem.
Oh, super big problem. Oh, maybe. You know, those lobsters live a little deeper in the water, and the crabs tend to be in a little shallower. And so I think that the green crabs have been a problem for our native crabs because they share the exact same habitat in the water column. So there's other problems that the green crabs have had lately because they like to eat soft shell clams.
Yes.
Do you like clams?
I honestly haven't tried them.
Have you ever tried to go clamming and dig for clams?
No.
That's really fun to do. But anyhow, digging for clams is lots of fun, but we don't have as many as we used to because the green crabs actually eat them. They crush their shells and eat them. So that, you know, that's competition for the people who are out there trying to harvest clams and making a living by harvesting clams. But there's one more problem that those green crabs are causing. And I'm glad you brought it up today because here we are, both of us sitting with grass behind us. And I wanted to talk a little bit about seagrasses because they're so important in the ocean. And the green crabs are messing with the eelgrass too.
Don't they like clip it off with their claws or something?
Well, they do a little bit of that, but they also do a little munching on it.
Oh.
Not to even really eat it, but I think they're just messing with it. They like to burrow in it, make tunnels under it, and just basically mess with it. And so some eelgrass areas have been completely decimated, just wrecked by these green crabs. So we have a little bit of time left to talk, and I thought maybe we could talk about seagrasses. Do you know if there's seagrasses down in the Caribbean or off of Australia or places where the Great Barrier Reef is located?
No, I don't know. One question I had, is eelgrass only found in salt water?
Yes, the kind of eelgrass that I'm talking about. There are some grasses that grow in kind of mixed saltwater, freshwater that are also eelgrasses. There's some of those up in Northeast Creek. Have you ever been up in Northeast Creek in a canoe or a kayak?
No.
Oh, well, we have to take a field trip up there sometime. That would be fun. There's a lot of beautiful grasses up there that are called rupia. But the kind of grasses that we have in the marine environment, the different kinds of seagrasses, The one that we have here is called Zostera, not Rupia. Those are scientific names. And Zostera is the one that I've been studying. And we've certainly been losing it, so I've been trying to work with citizen scientists like you, I mean students of all ages and all kinds of community members, volunteers, as well as people who are in the AmeriCorps program, students who are part of a class, or students who are part of a summer camp. All kinds of people have helped with replanting eelgrass around Hadley Point area, out in Lemoyne, over in Trenton. And we've had a lot of trouble doing it. It's not easy, and it doesn't always regrow. But I wanted to talk to you about some reasons why it's so important. Maybe you heard about photosynthesis. Have you heard about photosynthesis? It's a big word. It's what plants do, right? They take energy from the sun, and they also take in carbon dioxide that we breathe out and other animals breathe out, and then they convert it to oxygen.
I have a fact that I learned.
Yeah?
Kelp forests can take 40 million tons of carbon dioxide each year.
Wow, where did you learn about kelp?
In a episode yesterday.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, so kelp and seagrasses, they both can take a lot of carbon dioxide out of the water after it's dissolved into the water out of the atmosphere. And so really important carbon sinks. They're called carbon sinks because they can pull that carbon out of the water that's dissolved into the water out of the atmosphere. So we don't want to lose those carbon sinks, right? We need carbon sinks all over our oceans and in our forests so that we can combat the rising CO2 levels. Lots of problems, it seems, on this planet between marine debris, invasive species, some climate change. But you know what? Mother Nature has a lot of solutions for us if we pay attention. You know what else eelgrass is good for?
Glass shrimp.
Oh, you've been doing some reading about eelgrass, haven't you? Yeah, I've seen those little shrimp down in the eelgrass beds. It's really fun at low tide to go out with a mask and snorkel, and I wear a wetsuit too. And then sometimes I use a boogie board so I can just float over the eelgrass and not step on it. And then when you put your head down in the water in your goggles, you can see all the little shrimp swimming in and around the eelgrass. That's pretty cool. In some places, people even find seahorses around the eelgrass, and they wrap their tails around the eelgrass and hold themselves up in the water column like that. I've even seen aquarium displays, like at the New England Aquarium, and even the South Carolina Aquarium, where they've got the eelgrass with the little seahorses, you know, with their little tails wrapped around the grass. So lots of animals like to live in the eelgrass. And you know what else I can see on the eelgrass when I'm down there with my goggles?
What?
I can see egg masses. So somebody's laying their eggs on the grass. Sometimes it's little snails. And we see a lot of periwinkles and different kinds of snails down in the eelgrass too. Do you know where we get our eelgrass when we're trying to replant it at Hadley Point?
No.
We have to go way out to Stave Island. It's off of Goldsboro. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. And there's people from an organization called Maine Coast Heritage Trust, and they take care of these islands out there in Frenchman Bay, and they take us out on their boat. We get to go on a big boat ride from the MDI Biological Laboratory all the way out to Stave Island. And that's where we have a permit to actually harvest some of the grass. Like we pull it up by the roots and then we take it over to Hadley Point and plant it over there. So when we're out in Goldsboro area around Stave Island, there's always baby lobsters in that eelgrass over there. Tons of these little lobsters like this big. It's really exciting to see. Are you thinking that you want to get into a wetsuit and put on some goggles and float on a boogie board?
Yes.
Well, we'll have to do that sometime this summer.